Doctor Who Flux Chapter 2 War of the Sontarans really helped to further the big mystery of the series, introducing us both to the Temple of Atropos as well as the Mori, creatures who supposedly keep time in balance, all of time runs through them. But the Mori are damaged and time is beginning to run wild, could really harm the TARDIS, and I think the Mori are the original form of the creatures we now know as the Weeping Angels. In other words, the Mori and the Angels are one and the same. When Swarm and Azure enter the Temple of Atropos, and I'm just going to take this moment to say how good is Swarm as a villain, he's brilliant. Anyway, Azure says that they've been quantum locked against us, referring to the Mori. And the Weeping Angels, their main gimmick, for lack of a better term, is that they're quantum locked, meaning they can only move when they're not being observed. Now, of course, this could just be a coincidence, but it is a very specific choice of wording, and one we have only heard refer to the Weeping Angels up until this point. And as we know, the Weeping Angels are appearing in both the next episode and in episode 4, so it makes sense if they were connected in some way. So, have their origins ever been touched on or hinted at in the TV series? Not really at all, to be fair. Their only real indication is way back in their very first appearance in Blink. The Doctor says no one quite knows where they came from. They're as old as the universe, or nearly. Which would make sense with this. If they are creatures that physically keep time in check and run time, then they would be as old as the universe. Or potentially even older. The fact they're in the Temple of Atropos is also very interesting. The name Atropos is actually ripped straight from Greek mythology. Atropos was one of the 3 Morai, goddesses of fate and destiny, and Mori, very similar name there, but even more interestingly, in almost all depictions of the goddess Atropos as well as the other 2 Morai, they are presented almost identically to how the Weeping Angels look. You also have to consider the fact that the whole thing with the Weeping Angels is they send people back in time so they can feed off the energy from the time they never got to live. Their whole thing is connected to time, and they're always feeding off energy. And if they are in fact the keepers of time, but they are dying or broken, then they need energy to keep it in check. That would make sense and fit in with their whole pre-existing lore. In Blink they wanted the energy of the TARDIS, in Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone they were feeding off the radiation of the crash of the Byzantium. What if both of those times they're only doing that in order to get the energy they needed to keep time in balance? And indeed, if the Mori are the Weeping Angels, then they are connected to Swarm. Swarm is by extension connected to the Timeless Child. The Timeless Child is then by extension connected to the Time Lords, and the Time Lords have always been theorised to have some sort of connection to the Weeping Angels. As in the End of Time Part 1, right at the end, Rassilon says only 2 stand against the Weeping Angels of old, and there are 2 Time Lords there with their hands covering their eyes, very much like the Weeping Angels do. It's been theorised forever that the Angels are connected to the Time Lords. Maybe this series will finally confirm it. But I want to hear what you think. Do you think the Mori could in fact be the Weeping Angels? Do you have any other theories? And who do you think Swarm is? Whatever you think, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Remember to like and subscribe. In the meantime, I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.